During the world-renowned workshop move of 2024, when all of that went over there and all of that went over there, I noticed this unused space on my French cleat wall. Namely, this little area here, right underneath the routers and just above my what's currently crap storage area that I've not managed to tidy up yet, so ignore all the schmuzz that's here, but here I'm talking about not really big enough for tools as such. I also noticed during that self-same move that I've got a number of sustainer screw boxes that are really far more useful in a mobile environment in the van and are really taking up the space that I could use for tool storage. So I decided initially to make some plywood boxes using the laser, but then it occurred to me I can make them out of plastic, durable, hard wearing, extremely easy to make plastic screw boxes. And here is an example of diligently fashioned in, well, plastic. So what I'm going to do is utilize that space and these screw boxes to hold the screws that are currently in the sustainers, therefore making the space the screw boxes take up available for the tools that I'd really like to have there, and moving the sustainer screw boxes into the van. So I've got some leftover pieces of 12mm ply, some really nice ply. Honestly, I could get away with 9mm, but I don't not got none of that, so 12mm it is. And my approach is simply going to be to route some dados into the top and bottom panels. This piece is wide enough to do the top and the bottom, so I'm going to route the dados first so I can guarantee they'll be in exactly the same place. And the way I'm going to do it is take a little bit of scrap, line it up with the edge for the first dado, mark that, then I can set my parallel fence on my router so I can make that dado, and then I'm going to make a little full space for the router with a guide rail in it that'll sit in that first channel to route the second one, and then in the second one to route the third, and so on and so on and so on, which should work perfectly. All I need to do is ensure that I make that little full space at the perfect size for my screw box. Drawing from some of the less desirable offcuts in the wood pile, I'm going to use this piece of 12mm hardwood plywood to act as the full space, the base plate for the router. I'm going to cut that to about 220, 240mm wide, a bit oversized arguably, but better over than under. And then I'm going to cut a piece of 12mm birch ply at just under 2mm thick, so it'll sit into the previously routed slot. Like so. I'm going to glue this little 2mm offcut to the bottom of that hardwood ply that I've just cut. So I get it roughly in the centre, and I'll do that with a little bit of cyano and some of these ultra useful plastic clamps. right on the edge. While I wait for that to go off, I can crack on with some paperwork because I'm a little bit behind. Okay, good solid hour on my paperwork and I'm all caught up. Now all I need to do is to lay out for my screw box. And that's the exact width there. But I'm not going to be that silly. I'm going to allow a couple of mil on either side, and then as I've got 12mm ply, I'm going to take another 6mm to my centre line, that's what I'm going to set my router up on, because I need to make two cuts. My first cut is going to be the exact size for my guide bush to go in, and then the second one will be the bit that I need to create that channel. Well, as luck would have it, I don't have a 17mm router bit that exactly matches the outside diameter of my guide bush for my router, so I'm going to have to take two passes. So now it should simply be a case of dropping my little template in place. I know I did say it was going to be a base plate for the router and this ended up being a template, didn't it? So my apologies. Drop that in place, a little clamp, buzz buzz, move to the next, buzz buzz, move to the next, so on and so on. Slice it down, little bits in the middle, glue it up. Job's a bobby, done in 15. Maybe a little more. Okay, with all my dados cut them, it's time to cut this piece in half to make the top and the bottom. I'm well oversized at 240, so I'm thinking I might make it a little deeper and leave the handle sit in, which would be there, because I can still get to that quite nicely. So the height of my screw box is 50mm. So if I cut 60mm from my risers, that allows for the 3mm groove that I've cut top and bottom. So it should give me 4mm spare. I think that's enough. Let's cut to and find out. That presses my little chuckle button, that does. I love that. And if we put a round over on the inside and all around the outside, it'll reduce this chunky look, chunky feel that it's got, and it might even make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. Now, as there's every possibility in the world open to me to make this into a sow's ear, I'm going to glue in these two end pieces first. Just let the glue tack up enough to give me a little bit of rigidity. Gonna glue the back rail on. Plenty strong enough. Don't see the need for mechanical fixings. The drawing and the 3D printing process were an absolute walk in the park. I elected to do the little handles separate because if I'd have drawn the handles as part of the box, then when it printed them, it would have required a lot of support printing under this piece, and I wanted to negate that just to make it that little bit quicker. So I drew those as separate bits, and I just glue them on with a little bit of medium cyano. So I press them into place, flip them back out of the way, add a touch of medium, and then flip them over, making sure I've got it all pressed down and level and lovely. And of course, try not to glue my hands to it. So I've actually made a bit of a boo-boo here, and I never gave any thought to the amount of the screw box that was projecting beneath the French cleat. You see, they utilise shear weight to keep them in place because there's an amount of cantilever that happens and there isn't enough there to stop it. I should have reduced the height of this before I glued it on. So in order to fix that, I'm going to take a little scrap of ply and glue it to the bottom. So I just increase the amount of face here, surface, that can resist the cantilever action, and it will be sound as a pound. But never mind, I'm only human after all. Okay, I promise never to sing again. That's better. Nice and solid. Perfect, Mark. Perfect. Look at that. Little soldiers all lined up together, ready to do their job for the great British workman and hold their screws. Ideal. Really pleased with that. And it's absolutely got to be all in exactly the same colour. I'm sure you agree. So now all I've got to do is fashion some perfectly aligned little labels to tell me what's in each box. But apart from that, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching.